Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast, the show where we help you optimize your health, fitness, and mindset on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. My name is Maxime Sigouin. I am a former triathlete, powerlifter, bodybuilder, and basketball player, and I've been vegan for over 9 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, which has helped over 500 vegans from 20 different countries to completely transform their bodies and their health. I'm excited for you to hear today's episode. Let's get into the show. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, a Fit Vegan superstar, Alana. How are you doing today?
Superstar, you're generous.
You are a superstar in the tribe. Everyone enjoys when you comment, when you jump on the group calls.
They're so fun. They're just, it's such a good team, and they I guess they get my humor. So that's good.
Yeah. So I'm excited to chat with you today because we have like quite a history. And you know, you've been with us for a few months now. You're down 20 pounds so far. And so yeah, I'd love if you just give a little background on you and kind of like what you do, because again, I feel like most people's excuses or misconceptions about people that are transforming is that they have nothing else going on in their life, and it's super easy for them to like work out and meal prep, and you have
Yeah.
a lot on your plate. You have a really busy, demanding job, you have a family. So
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm definitely one of those people who's guilty of accusing fit people of having nothing else to do. I've since been proven very wrong. But yeah, so I'm 42. I'm a nurse. So my main gig is I'm a clinical nurse educator at an acute care hospital. So that's my daytime gig, part-time. My background is critical care. So I'm ICU trained, and most of my bedside career has been in the intensive care. So I have done that since 2011, and I still do that part-time. I'm employed in two intensive cares in the city. So I do that, and that's shift work. I run a charity art project that has an event once a year. So that's just kind of some social media shilling there, but it's super fun. And I teach knitting classes on Tuesday evenings most of the year. And I have two kids, three if you count my husband. Yeah. So yeah, I got some stuff going on. Yeah, it's a busy time, and I have a feeling it's only going to get busier. My kids have their activities starting. We're getting back into karate in this fall, so yeah, we've got a lot.
Hands full.
Totally. It's fun. It's fun. It keeps me young. It keeps me really tired, but it keeps me young, so that's okay.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're able to help with the nutrition to give you some more energy.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. I handle this far better than I used to. Now that I'm eating like really like clean, delicious plant-based food, it's just, yeah, I'm functioning. It's like a quality fuel, right? So
Yeah.
I've got high octane going on right now. So yeah, we're doing it.
Good. Well, so I'm curious, like what brought you to, and I'll let you tell that story, but like what brought you to come in and work with us as of, I think it was as of June, right? Because it was for the giveaway.
Yeah. So uh even further back than that. So you, of course, and then anyone who's listened to the podcast and members of the tribe will probably know Darcy. Darcy, you're famous. Darcy. I've known Darcy for about 20 years. I met him through my husband, and when he was in the hotel business and the restaurant business, I loved him as soon as I met him. But you know, life happens. You get careers, things change. I had a family. You get like so busy, and I hadn't seen him for a really long time. We always kind of kept in touch online, and I had seen his before and after pictures he shared on, and he doesn't share a lot on Facebook, but I happened to see his before and after transformation photos on Facebook.
Killer transformation.
Holy shit. Like it was amazing. And I think I think Darcy believed at one point that the struggles that he had were all within him, but it's not entirely true. Like I know that he struggled. Um, but to see what he was able to do was just so remarkable. And then I ran into him, or he actually ran into me. My husband and my kids and I were walking along like a pedestrian and cycling trail in our neighborhood, and Darcy was on like a 10K run and stopped and recognized us. Was like, oh, hey, how's it going? So we stopped and we caught up. But I probably haven't seen Darcy since I had easily like gained like 50 pounds.
Mhm.
And it was so good to see him, but it was kind of humiliating that I'm like, I can't believe that I haven't seen you in this long, and this is how you're seeing me today, and he's not a shallow person, he doesn't care, but I cared kind of in that moment.
Mhm.
So fast forward to June of 2022, saw that there was an opportunity for membership for like the 30-day like summer challenge, and I was totally ready to try that out. So got on with, I think you had maybe 30 some odd members for
Yeah.
that challenge. And there were some people that I just really hit it off with. The timing was um it was really what I needed at that time, because the last winter was just really shitty for me in a lot of ways. So this came at just the perfect time, and I was able to really throw myself into it and really shift my my focus onto taking care of myself and learning to incorporate exercise into my life, and putting work into myself, putting effort into myself, dedicating some time to myself. So the 30-day challenge went so well. And I didn't even know about the giveaway until it was Darcy who like messaged me and is like, hey, how's it going? Have you entered the giveaway? And I'm like, what's with the giveaway? He's like, girl, you gotta get in on that. And I did. And here we are. Here we
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, 20 pounds later, like making deals, kicking butt, eating all the tofu. It's it's been good.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. For people listening, every year for my birthday, I give away 1 year of free coaching. Um, my way of helping out and just giving back, because I love helping people transform. And so when I saw you applied, I was like, when we met as a whole team for the whole coaching team, like, who do we select? We had all the reasons as to why people wanted to win. And we're like, Alana's going to be the one this year. And so I'm really happy you did something about it, because was it last year for my birthday, we had Gordon crushed it. Went from like, I labeled it dad bod to like men's cover model or something. Got like a six
Oh,
pack. He did an amazing job. The previous year we had someone else that I think did something for 1 month and then just bailed. And then I was like, I really need to be really
oh,
picky with who like jumps on, because the whole point is to help out. And so really happy that when you came on board, you just came in strong, and I knew you wanted, because you came from the 30-day challenge. So you already had made that commitment to yourself. And to see you come in and now be 20 pounds lighter since the end of June, because you basically started like early July.
yeah, yeah,
So it's basically been like 2 months and a half now, right? At that
yeah,
point, 2 months and a half.
yeah,
So you're down 20 pounds already. So this is a really good pace of fat loss. Like you're progressing really well.
yeah.
Um, and so I'm curious, like what made you want to do this now, like in terms of the challenge, right? And have you tried losing weight before?
Oh my God. I don't know. I probably should have warned you how loaded of a question that is. Um, so I come from, I'm an only child, but I have my mother is one of four daughters, and their mother, like my mother's mother, is a former beauty queen. She is from Montreal, Miss Continental 1941, and image and physique and a slender figure mean a lot to her.
Mm,
And my extended family, so my aunt was ran a franchise for a very large successful weight loss company, and I won't say the name. I'll just say that they encourage you to watch your weight. So my mother worked for the business as well in the main office. My aunt was the manager. My father worked shift work for the railway, and my mother often in the evenings, she would work evening shifts with this company. And she would bring me along with her. So like at age 4, age 5, 6, 7, like all these years, a couple times a week, I would sit in a big lecture hall with a lot of people who talked about the benefits and the reasons we need to be thin constantly. So if you want to raise a family with body image issues and disordered eating, that's pretty great way to do it, is to be surrounded by weight loss and misery and in that context. And it was always about like what you eat and what you do, and tricks to ways to trick your body into shedding more fat or not feeling so hungry, and shit like that. So I was always yo-yo dieting, one way or another. But from as young as I can remember, it was important to be on a diet. And I'm thinking like 4 or 5 years old.
That's
Um,
crazy.
it's awful. I can remember being like 4 or 5 years old and my mother saying, don't worry, Alana, mama's gonna get skinny. And I was really upset about that, because she's my mom and she felt wonderful in my arms when she held me. And I'm like, I don't want to feel any different. You're amazing to me. And she's really an amazing person, but this is what happened. This is how, our mindset was. Sorry, it's my kids making a little bit of noise up there. I'm just
No worries.
crash.
It keeps it authentic. It's all right. You have kids, they make noise. It's all right. It's part of life.
So I'm confident everything is fine. I've not heard any crying and there's nothing breaking. So, okay, we're good. We'll continue. But yeah, just like up and down. And in high school, it was such a battle. And like I was a dancer in high school. I exercised a lot. I was a cheerleader. But I was like the fat dancer and I was the fat cheerleader. And then I successfully lost weight for my graduation by stealing my mother's diet pills. And I did. I shed a lot of weight. And, of course, as soon as that stopped, came back on, I was 22 and I was hanging out with a guy who was super fit. And he hooked me up with these like thermogenics, which was like ephedrine, which is
the ECA stack,
yeah,
ephedrine, caffeine, and baby aspirin.
yeah. So he hooked me up with that, and because fitness was super important to him, asked me to help him inject anabolic steroids. Wasn't willing to do that, but I was taking these stimulants, and I would run twice a day for like an hour and a half, twice a day, and really restrict my calories. I became like rail thin, and I still thought I was fat. I met my husband not long after that, and he was just and is just this like loving, happy, wonderful, accepting person. And he did not care. All the lumps and bumps that I tried to hide, he's like, are you kidding me? Like, you're perfect the way you are. And that's what every like person wants to hear. And we just, yeah. So I had my person, and he was not into fitness at all. That just wasn't on his radar. He liked to drink beer and watch hockey and hang out with his friends. So that's what I did, and fast food and all that. And before I knew it, I was like well over 200 pounds. And it just, after a couple of pregnancies and some like postpartum mood disorders, it just got worse from there. And up until now, like any like weight loss programs have all had to do very much with like, okay, here's 3 easy steps, just eat this, this, and this, and boom, just like adhere to this plan, and it's going to magically work, or use this supplement, or this ritual, whatever. And it was all it's such bullshit. I've heard them all. Like, I've tried them all. I've done so much. So when I encountered your, God, this story is so long. Just tell
It's
me to.
perfect. Honestly, I didn't know all that about you. Like we've known each other
It's
for like over a year almost, because we chatted before you
yeah,
jumped the 30-day challenge, and
yeah.
I didn't know that. So no, that's perfect.
It's a huge history. Um, yeah, I've got a shit ton of baggage when it comes to body image and weight loss. But so after encountering Darcy, I messaged him and I asked him, like, what is the deal with this? He's like, yeah, I met this guy. Um, I've been following him on Facebook. And then I decided, like, okay, I'm just going to try this program. And you eat a ton of vegan food. He's like, it's not fake food. It's not, you don't order pre-made food. It's just everything you can cook at home. It's not any bizarre ingredients. You get workout plans. You have an app. He's like, he helps you stay accountable. He's like, you don't show up for a workout. You hear from someone, but they're not there to kick your ass, so to speak. Like, they're there to support you, to make sure you stay on. Like, they keep you accountable in a way that, someone who really cares about you keeps you accountable. And so I checked out some of your stuff on Instagram and whatnot, and it just seemed different, because you can give me a meal plan and you can give me a workout plan, and that's fine. I can follow that. But my ghosts are going to follow me, and
Yeah.
when you're using willpower, when you're trying to just will yourself to do something that you should do, but maybe you're not enjoying it, maybe you don't know why, maybe you don't have a direction, maybe you, like with me at first, it was like, yeah, this is going fine now, but in 6 weeks I'm going to fall apart and this isn't going to last. When you're using willpower, your addictions and your ghosts, they're doing push-ups
Mhm.
backstage. Like, they're working out and they're getting stronger, so that when you have that weak moment, like,
They're just
they're
busting through.
they're in there just to tear shit up, just tear
Yeah.
shit up. And I've had those moments, and oddly enough, they're when I've been most successful. I hit like a weight loss milestone or something, and then it's, the old, like, it's the elephant that, is pure id in my life that comes in. They're like, all right, so you've lost like 10 pounds now. I think that's a reason for cake. And you're
Yeah.
like, elephants are hard to rein in, man. Like, so yeah, and so that's still there. But with this program here, because the focus is on continuous improvement and compounding of habits, and not being perfect, but just doing better, and to be consistent and to keep going. And the compounding of those little habits becomes so big over time. So even when my elephant does show up, like, she can't trample on everything.
Mhm.
Um, I call her Samantha. So when Samantha comes by, I'm like, no, it's okay. You can, whatever, I got this, I'm okay. um Sometimes you just got to satisfy the elephant for a little bit, so sometimes that's like the vegan chocolate cake or ice cream or something, and then she calms down for another week or so. But no, this program, like, focuses on actual tools that keep you coming back. When you learn to meditate, you are dedicating time for yourself, and also exercising your brain in such a way that you can, overcome like really intense emotions that might cause you to do something that you might not normally do, if that's turning to cigarettes or alcohol or drugs or food. The consistency of exercise, and that there's, you're expected to show up for yourself several times a week and make that time. Meal prep is on a schedule, because you need to meal prep, you need to prepare, because when you don't plan, then any little slip up is gonna maybe lead to a slide, and that's the last thing you want. So if you're prepared, you might not slip, and if you don't slip, you can't slide. So it's 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 built on so much more than just diet and exercise, and it's delivered with so much compassion and so much faith in the members. So that was came across between our conversations, between learning from Darcy, from my very early experiences with the tribe, from listening to the podcast and hearing your interactions with members, and talking about their journeys. It's like this guy's the real deal. And I've seen so many snake oil salesmen, in this industry, and the weight loss industry is so big.
It is, and it's crooked.
And like, and then this one person, you were going by Lucky at the time, like when, when I first encountered your Instagram, and Darcy had even said, like, I don't even think that's his real name. I'm like, you're paying someone, you don't know his name, and you're letting him train you. It's all good. You're like, yeah, you're just totally authentic. My kids are coming downstairs. One sec.
Yes, and for the people listening in the meantime, Lucky used to be my old nickname.
No. Since those are my reasons. This is why I do this. Like, the work that I do, the volunteer that I do, and really making a shift to take care of myself is because kids will listen to none of what you say, but they will pay rapt attention to what you do. Mm-hmm. And I don't want them growing up looking at what I like. I don't want them to grow up on a diet. I don't want that. I want them to be like healthy and strong, confident and happy, and like just awesome fit vegans. So yeah.
Actually, that's a good question. Like, would you say that you've noticed a shift in their behavior in terms of like eating, and the more that you've been exercising, the more you've been changing your nutrition? Because I used to train some people in person, and their kids would come and do like the animal warm-ups with us.
So I got a treadmill. So I have a treadmill in my basement. So my kids are very interested in running now, so they want to try it out as well. But my son especially, he sees my body changing, and he says, Mom, like, you got really big muscles. Like, he's noticing that. So I said, oh yeah, I'll show you my muscles, show me your muscles. And I said, should we exercise together? So I'll if I have a day that I can't get to the gym, or I'm worried I can't get to the gym, he's like 43 pounds. I will haul him on my back, and I will do lunges, and I will do sumo squat, and I don't deadlift him because he wiggles too much.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard.
He exercises with me. And I was doing some core work with a big Swiss ball. And my kids were like doing the same thing. And my daughter was like, Mom, these are hard. And I'm like, yeah, Mama does 50 of those like 3 times a week. Yeah. And she saw the struggle. She's like, oh, whoa, yeah, that's good. So my son's been talking a little bit more, because my kids aren't vegan. I'm vegan. We're a vegetarian household mostly. So I joined karate so that my kids would get into karate, because I want them. I'm all about life skills. So swimming lessons and kicking ass are what I want for my kids.
Martial arts is good. I did it for a long time.
Yeah, and it's fun. The dojo we go to is very, like, there's a lot of women, and the head of the dojo of the karate program is a woman too. So it's very feminist and very woman positive. So so my kids did like a Young Tigers program, and then my daughter and I joined to do adult classes. So she's totally into it. So we've been away for a couple months over the summer, but we're gonna be going back soon. So they notice, and they ask me, like, Mom, do you have to go do your exercises today? And they understand that if I have to miss bedtime, it's because I'm going to the gym, or if I'm not there when they wake up, because I'm an early riser, and I'll get up, take off, go work out, and then come back, and they've had their breakfast and whatnot. So they're noticing, and it's not changing. It's pretty consistent. So they're very interested, and I try to get them up and out and walking a lot more, like just walking for fun, like which isn't something that we've done. So we're always going to the park, or we're going to a friend's house or something. There's always some destination in mind, but I want to encourage them, like, let's just walk because it's beautiful outside. And so we're getting there. There.
You lead by example, ultimately, right? It can only do positive things.
It's the best way to teach. I can't do any better than this. So yeah. Yeah.
And you mentioned something earlier of not wanting them to be raised in like the dieting world and like knowing that. Would you say that how we're making you eat now would not be considered dieting? Like, is this more sustainable, basically, how you're eating now? And do you feel more comfortable them seeing that than other things that you potentially have tried before?
So yeah, uh, definitely. Like they do right now. What I don't like, and this is on me, is that I am preparing myself different meals than what they're getting. What
Hmm.
I've been focusing on over the last month is integrating a little bit more of what I'm having and offering to them as well. So we have pretty much like the same like 6, 7 recipes that we rotate through that I know are safe foods for them that they really enjoy. So what I've started incorporating is some of my dish I will offer to them like in a small dish and say like you can touch it, you can squish it, you can smell it, you can taste it, whatever you want, but you're not obligated to eat it. And go figure, my kids like lentils, they love kale, like spicy chickpeas, like little like roasted chickpeas that I put on my salad.
Yeah.
Avocado, we're not quite there yet. So um but they do not see me denying myself things that I want to have. Like we had a family event out and we all went out for there's this amazing like voted best in Canada homemade ice cream parlor in Winnipeg, and they have a great vegan menu. So I
Mhm.
went out one day and I planned for it and we enjoyed ice cream together. And if they're having pizza and I'm not having pizza, they ask and I'm like, no, just pizza doesn't feel, I don't think it's going to feel good in my stomach today. I really would rather have my lentils and my salad because that's really what my body wants right now. So I try to frame it in a way that that's is what's feeling good for me right now. And I still offer them, do you want some of this salad? Do you want some of my lentils? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So that's something that I am working on, is just a way that we can make these more like more family meals. My husband is like, he calls himself a beagle because I'll anything I put in front of him he'll eat.
Yeah.
It's just fine. So
Seems to be a
so that
recurring theme for a lot of husbands for partners that are in the
right.
program.
Like you're just someone's cooking for me, I'm just gonna appreciate it and eat it anyways.
That's why
So
I like working with moms and women, to be honest with you, because you guys are like, you're the powerhouse of the home. Like you have so much impact over what everyone else does. Right. And so like whoever would be the head cook of the home. And so it is a transition, right? Like it is a personal choice to go vegan, and then to necessarily like force the whole family to transition in one go is pretty tough. And so like I appreciate the transition that you're doing and letting them try, like touch it, squish it, whatever you want to do. But you're not forced to eat it, but at least you're giving the opportunity to have the freedom to choose. Not growing up in the world of diet, like is this a sustainable way? And then you mentioned that you're slowly allowing themselves to try different recipes that you have and to just make their own opinion basically about
yeah.
what
Oh yeah, like it's I mean, if someone puts something in front of me at mealtime that I just it was foreign and strange and I didn't have any input or in the decision, like uh, you know um kids have very little control and they want some of it, so you got to give them something that's safe. But this is like I said, it is a kind of a transition time, so they're still learning to figure out, learning to like, because I think tastes are very much a learned thing.
Mhm.
um, but in terms of sustainability, this is actually much more sustainable than what I was doing before, because when you've got so much going on and you've got so many juggling balls in the air, actually taking that, and I think I prep for maybe 90 minutes tops, and I do a big meal prep on Sundays,
Yeah.
and I've got everything. The rest of the week is just seamless, and then I know what they're eating at lunch and for snacks, and I know what I'm eating, depending on where I'm working and what my day is going to be like. I have that totally set. If my husband has to work, because my husband works 12-hour shifts too, I've got his meals all set. This is literally like, it's not only sustainable, it's really easier. It's so much easier this way,
Yeah.
because I've got a meal plan that is crystal clear. I know how to modify it if I need to for preferences or what's in season. I have a shopping list. I know exactly what I need. I can have a quick look at my pantry and say, what have I got? What do I need to stock up on? It's so easy, and it's absolutely sustainable. It's so much easier to get everything done when meal planning is just, that's just done. 90 minutes, it's done.
Yeah. Well, it makes me happy to hear, because that's basically the whole point, right? Like you talked about, there's a lot of programs out there that are very strict. And again, they work because they are so strict, right? If you follow the strictness, then yeah, you're going to get some results, but ultimately, how can you live on that for the rest of your life, right? And I love that you went for ice cream with your kids. Like, hey, I would do it too, and I do it. You find a nice little vegan ice cream shop, you better have a cone, right? Make it fit within your metrics, and then you move forward and you enjoy it.
Well, and that was the week that it happened. Like, I had like a milestone loss. Like, I think that's when I hit like my 20-pound loss mark, and I was like, huh, look at that. Like, real life does work with transformation. It's shocking, right? So I don't have to be someone who's just at home doing nothing else but like squats and eating kale all day long. Absolutely not. I'm so busy. I've got the same worries as everyone else. Like, I've got the same like responsibilities as everyone else, and I get pulled in 100 different directions. I have really terrible days. I've got like mood swings, based on my cycle, and I have, work stressors and whatever. I deal with all of that, and I can still do this. You're gonna go towards the path of least resistance when you need to move forward, when you're stressed out, when you're worried, when you're tired. And if you have a healthy meal ready to go, that's the easiest thing to do, is to pick that meal, because it's right there. You follow, you really can't fail. Follow the plan, follow the workouts, eat the good food, a lot of good food. I have a hard time eating all the food, Maxime. I'm still having a hard time eating all this
It's a good
food.
problem to have.
It is. I will take this problem. I absolutely will take this problem. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
That's one thing I appreciate about you when you're, on the group calls and in a tribe. You're like, you know what, having a shitty day right now, but I'm not gonna let that win, and I'm still gonna go and do my workout. And I think that's really valuable for you in terms of accountability to the group, but also for the other members in the tribe, because everyone has these days, and everyone for some reason thinks that once they commit to doing a transformation, that it will just, everything is gonna go smooth. Right? Life still moves on. Like, life doesn't care that you want to lose like 50 pounds, 80 pounds. Life doesn't care you want a flatter stomach. It just doesn't care. And so you have to be able to show up even when it's inconvenient. And I think you're doing a really good job at that, which is why ultimately, you're down 20 pounds since the beginning of July.
It's one thing that I really learned, especially with coming out of the worst waves of the COVID pandemic. And of course, like working in healthcare, I'm like right in the thick of that.
Yeah.
And it was realizing that, a lot of people are just putting life on hold, putting, families on hold, life changes, moving, career, education, and things like that, until things settle down, until COVID goes away. And I'm like, newsflash, this is not going away. It might affect us differently, but it's not going away. And this, I had such a shitty winter. And like on a personal level, it got to a point where I was almost paralyzed with sadness. And I got into reading, I don't know if you've read any Gary John Bishop, like Unfuck Yourself, that book.
I've heard of it. I haven't read that one.
It's a gateway into Stoic philosophy, and I really appreciate it for cussing and for honesty and for like letting every reader know that. So just, you know, you're an asshole. You're full of shit. You need to be responsible for the things that you do. Yes, you have circumstances that make it hard to move forward. Yes, there are things that happen that make it seem impossible to move, but life is happening. Life is happening right now. And you need to be here right now because it's not waiting for you. I spent decades and I spent a lot of time waiting for the planets to align, for the weather to be perfect, to find the perfect workout clothes and have really comfortable shoes, to have a great day, that it was time to start the diet, that it was time to start the exercise routine. That day never comes. That day never ever comes, but life is happening. Life is moving. And if you want to be a part of it, you got to just jump on. You got to jump on. You got to be there. You got to be present. You got to deal with your shit. You need to forgive your past. You got to stop blaming your parents. You got to stop blaming your boss or your job or COVID or whatever is going on. Like, everyone's got so much potential. I believe everyone in this world has like a gift that they need to nurture and share, you know, that can, you know, do wonderful things for the community and for, you know, the people around them. You know, people, you can change, you can get that job, you can get that body, you can, you know, do that art, you can take on that challenge, that project, but you got to wipe away, you know, everything else. There's never going to be a perfect time. Just go, just get started. And I think that's the mindset that really got me out of that deep sadness, is when I started, you know, reading these books, getting, you know, a bit into, you know, Marcus Aurelius and, you know, some ancient Stoic philosophers, and realizing, yeah, okay, it's time to move. It's time to get going. Just forget the past. It doesn't matter. It's gone. Move forward. And that's what, you know, that's one of your mantras as well, whether you realize it. It's just, okay, so if you're not winning right now, just win the next meal. Like, you know, whatever binge you just had, you know, whatever workout just flubbed, whether it was terrible, it's okay. That's done. Let's focus on what's going on right now. Pull up the energy you have right now. Win the next meal. Win the next workout.
I like what you said. It's, you know, we all like to feel a certain sense of pride and accomplishment to a certain extent. And, you know, when we do a workout and it's like, you know, it's sunny outside, it's beautiful, you slept well, you do a workout, like, that's not impressive to me. What I'm like, compared to a morning where you wake up, it's cold, you don't want to get out of your blanket, you get out of bed, you stub your toe, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be this day. And then you get to the gym, you forgot your fob to get to the gym. Like, that workout is so much more impressive than the one that's like, it's sunny, it's beautiful, life is perfect, because everyone can do those workouts, right?
Like, yeah, you conquer the barrier, like,
Yeah.
and you overcome that to get done what you need to get done. That feels amazing.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, that's why you and all the members of the tribe are winning, is because you guys are showing up during those days, right? Like, those are the ones that matter. Like, you wouldn't be down 20 pounds because I can pretty much assume that not every day was perfect the whole time that you were losing 20 pounds, right? And so
Not even close.
right? So you showed up on the times where it was hard, where it was inconvenient, where you didn't want to, potentially your body was aching, you ran out of time, just shit was going on, and you should have dealt, you potentially went on to deal with something else, but instead you went to do your workout. And ultimately, that level of discipline that you bring to your body and your health will transfer tenfold into every other area of your life after.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I've got a 20-pound loss, and that was hard earned. I've got a lot. I've got a long road ahead of me. Like, I've got 80 pounds left to lose. Like, well, and I don't know how I'm going to feel when I'm like 60 pounds down or whatnot. I really don't know. It's been a long time since I've been there, and I've never been this fit in terms of strength. So I don't know what the end number is meant to be, and I don't know that I care about it that much, but it's, yeah, I realize I'm in it for the long game. I know they're not all going to be great workouts. They're not all going to be perfect meals. They're not all going to be perfect days. And even my best laid plans are sometimes going to fail. But I know that when I'm showing up like 90% of the time, those are the times that count. And when it's hard, that's when it counts. When it's inconvenient, that's when it counts. Because sometimes weeks, months, sometimes years are hard. But yeah, life's not stopping. So
Well,
see, keep going.
one thing we're going to do is we're going to do a follow-up podcast, you and I, just as extra accountability for you. Because now it's good to be on the show because we're recording it. But no, I'm excited for you. And just like a shift in perspective, like I've never had to lose 100 pounds personally. The most I've ever lost was 80 pounds. So basically what you have left to lose. And like just changing the perspective, like it's actually not like that much weight to lose, right? Like you've lost 20. Yes, it gets a bit more challenging as you get leaner, but ultimately, the longer you go, the more deeply ingrained the habits are, the more your behavior is changing, the more like you just work out when you don't want to work out. Like all that becomes easier. And you just realize at one point that it's not about sexiness, excitement of like, oh, this is brand new. I'm so excited to work out. It just literally becomes about repetition. And once there's a moment where you'll realize like, wow, the program is boring. Once you realize the program is boring, that's where your opportunity is to be like, okay, I just need to like turn on the switch. There's a repetition game. That's literally all it is. And once you go into repetition mode, you win. For 80 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever you want after, it just becomes so easy because it literally just is about repetition. And I don't have kids. I only can speak from the aspect of a caregiver, but obviously I've coached hundreds of parents at that point. Like what I think like what makes you a great mom and a great parent is you show up consistently for your kids. Do you want to every day? Probably not, right? You probably days where you're tired and you're like, oh, I want to go on a beach in like Miami or something, but you show up consistently every day, and ultimately that's what your kids are going to remember and be grateful for. And literally the
Yeah,
same thing. It's just repetition.
I'm when I was having a discussion with Barbara and with some other members of the tribe on the app yesterday, and in some ways 80 pounds still feels like a bit of a mountain to climb. But I was thinking about it today on a walk, and I was shifting my perspective and thinking like, really, to be honest, this is like a mountain climb that I've already trained for. I've already like trained 20% of this.
Mhm.
So I would rather go into this having the experience that I already have. I have 3 months of working out when I don't feel like it. I have 3 months of, eating like my planned meal instead of the pizza that everyone else is enjoying. Of having a protein shake when my husband's having a beer and that's all I want. Like, so I'm more prepared now. I'm trained. I've I've been trained for this job, so I'd rather go into this with this preparation. And you're absolutely right. It's just a matter of repetition and consistency, and at this point, and I feel so much better being consistently healthy, working out, strong, just getting stronger, than I did when I was feeding myself just unhealthy, just vegan junk food and lazing on the couch and creating every excuse to treat my body like a garbage disposal, really. um it's easier, it's harder living this way, it's harder to start maybe, but it's easier to
Yeah.
be in this way. It's easier to work, it's easier to be a nurse, it's easier to be a mom and a wife and to show up. Um and I've done this much. Like I went and applied for like a new job. That so this is the other ICU that I'm working at. So I was like, what the heck? I'm gonna take on like another casual position. I applied for grad school and got in, and these are things that I never like I wouldn't have had the guts to even
Mhm.
try. But like, man, I've got this I've got this plan, I've got this program, and I'm doing it. If I can do this, fuck, I can do anything. And I want my kids to see that too. I want my family to see that too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the reason I love fitness. I obviously love the whole food plant-based aspect because of disease proofing the body and the health, which is ultimately why I started all this. But once you've learned to master your body, the same principles apply to relationship, to career, to business, to finance, to everything else. And once it clicks that it literally just is about repeating the small, simple steps every day in and day out, and you realize that the person that's going to win is the person that's not going to quit, because eventually people will get bored, people will get tired, people will be, this is redundant, and then they're going to quit, and then they fail, and then they lose basically. And so
yeah.
if you can do that in every other aspect, you just literally win everything. Like success in body, and when you go back to grad school, when you're in your career, is literally about who can do the boring work the longest. That's literally what
Yeah.
it's about.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Talk to talk to me in 6 months when I'm in the middle of my my first.
Yeah, but that's perfect. Like, let's be honest, in the next 6 months, like shit's gonna come up in your life. You're gonna have challenges, moment. You potentially will have like had moments where you went off track a little bit, but ultimately, I'm not worried because I know that whenever it does happen, you have the tribe, you have your coaches, you have the resources. We'll get you back on track, right? Ultimately, it's just about winning the next meal, winning the next workout, and showing up for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Like, I just had like a few more questions for you, which is, if you had the opportunity to chat with like a version of Alana that is listening right now, that is on the verge of, taking action, potentially joining the program, or just even committing to becoming healthier. What is something that you would tell this person?
I think it would be that to validate that I'm deserving of that effort, of that energy and that time. One of the biggest struggles has been taking time for myself when I'm worth putting in. I'm worth putting in that effort. And that the outcome is, it's worth it. It's worth it. I take care of so many people who kind of get to an age, and maybe they're dealing with a chronic illness or a sudden illness, and all of a sudden they're just on their, and just waiting to die. I don't know. There's so much life to live. It's worth it. And it feels so good. I think about what I might be like in 6 months from now. What am I going to feel like? What am I going to look like? I know what I'll be doing. But I sometimes wonder if I have a little peek at that person. I know what they're thinking and what they're feeling, and what their day looks like. So I guess if I were to talk to myself before starting, I would just say it's worth it. It's like, it's not time to slow down. It's not time to give in. It's time to move. And when you do, you'll move everything. Like everything will look so much different. Everything's going to feel so much different. I don't know. I don't know if I answered that very well.
Nah, that's perfect. If it came from the heart, it's perfect. And I appreciate your vulnerability, your authenticity. Um, and I know that it connected with a lot of people listening to the show today. And so for the people that are listening that, want an amazing transformation like Alana, I mean, like physical, but also mental, because there's been a huge shift
Yeah.
mentally and who you were before to now. And again, it's just a start. I just put a link in the show notes where you guys can book your free consultation call just to see if we'd be able to help you. And just one disclaimer though, you got to be ready to put in the work. Because as Lana can attest, it is work as much as it's fun, you eat good food, you work out. It is a lot of work. And so just put the link in the show notes. And Alana, I just want to say massive thank you for taking the time to jump on the show while you're watching the kids. And I know it's the evening for you, so I don't want to hold you for too long, but I just want to say a big thank you for jumping on the show.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. It's so nice to chat with you. And like, I appreciate you in like I'm sending out good energy to the universe to you at so many different times a day, just because it's yeah, your really sound advice and your compassion pops into my memory several times a day. And I send you my thanks and my deepest love, like just several times a day. I am so much better for what I've done with this program. I'm so much better in this world. And like I got nice biceps happening now. So yeah, I'm really glad for that too. You like you will get out tenfold what you put into this program, but you must put in if you want to get that, So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Alana.
Oh, thank you. I hope you have an awesome day. We'll chat again soon.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye bye.